Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the June 13th, 2022 meeting of the Whitehall-Coplay School Board Directors. I would like to call this meeting to order. Please rise and pledge the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Millay, please call the roll.
Mr. Fonzone.
Here.
Mrs. Gogler.
Here.
Dr. Hartman.
Here.
Mrs. Cromer.
Here.
Mr. McCool.
Here.
Mr. Saloom.
Present.
Mrs. Schultz.
Here.
Mr. Shields is absent. Mr. Williams.
Present.
8 present.
Thank you, Mr. Millay.
Mr. Shields
Shields
may
is
be
on.
joining us.
Yeah,
I think it's coming in on Zoom.
Okay.
You're good.
We have noticed of one executive session. Executive session today occurred Monday, June 13th at 3:30 p.m. for the discussion of the superintendent's evaluation. Mr. Millay, is there any correspondence for the board?
No correspondence.
Thank you. We'll move forward with public participation for those that have submitted a request to speak form prior to the meeting. We'll call your name and a time. Please come forward to the microphone. You have 3 minutes to provide comments to the board. Mrs. Tina Corn.
Mrs. Corin, just 1 second. Mr. Shields is now on Zoom, Mr. Millay. Sorry about that.
Okay. Well, I'm Tina Corin. I'm the new tax collector in Whitehall Township. We were recently advised at one of our board meetings that the school district is contemplating moving to Berkheimer to collect per capita and business privilege tax. This was an item and a topic for discussion, and it was very upsetting to me because I have worked for the past 5 months to bring that tax office back to where it should be. Every month, every day, we deal with some officials from this school district. If it's George Joseph, if it's Donna from the administrative offices, if it's Tina, we work hand in hand with the school district to make sure that moving permits are done so you know how many kids get on buses. There isn't a day that goes by that somebody from the school district doesn't reach out to us for help with something. And we reach out to them for help if we see there's an issue. And I am gonna pass this around. This is something that I give to Tina and Mike every month before the 10th of the month. This is one report that I do for the school district to show what the income is for every tax we collect. So I'll pass this around and give you back.
Thank you.
They're very time consuming, and that's what my job is to do. But I also want to mention that I was on this board for 19 years, and I had no idea what the tax collector did. And probably of those 19 years, I voted no to a raise for her, or him, whatever it was, because I thought, what the heck do they do? I can honestly tell you, me in this position, I have worked 6:30 to 4 o'clock every day, 5 days a week, sometimes Saturdays and Sundays, to bring this office back to where it should be. There is no possibility that any money will be missing from this office because of what I have implemented. And the commissioners can attest to that. I do, and some of you came into the tax office, you get electronic receipts that automatically generate a balance sheet, which will be sent when school taxes start. Those school tax reports will be sent daily to financial, so they see every penny that we brought in that office. So I'm just urging you, I know you want to do away with per cap. Per cap is a necessary evil as far as I'm concerned, because we live in Whitehall and there's apartments everywhere. People move in, people move out, people are always moving, and it's a way for us to look at who's living in this township, who needs to pay tax. We can adjust tax, we work on it constantly. And as far as business privilege, I know that's a sore subject too, but that's not gonna happen again. If you look at that report and look at the money that I brought in so far, last year, I'm over halfway to an entire year of business privilege tax. So I'm urging you to give me a chance and you'll be happy with the results. I don't wanna see it go to Berkheimer, and I'll just end with one little story. I had an elderly man came in on Friday, And for 20 minutes, he stood with Tom, one of our new clerks, and he talked to him about how he thinks he has dementia and that he can't do this anymore. And Tom talked to him and said, I'll help you out. And he showed him what he has to do. And he's a former teacher in the school district. Why would we take that away? Why would we take customer service away from our taxpayers? That's what we're there for. Maybe we spend too much time with the taxpayers, but that's what we're there for. Do you think they're gonna get that from Berkheimer? Absolutely not. And that's all I really have to say. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Corrin. Mr. Charles?
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Bruce Charles. I'm from Whitehall Township. The reason I'm here today is just to urge the board to vote against the proposed budget. I am not totally convinced, being here the last few months, that 3.25% increase or 3.22 is enough of a reduction. I'm not convinced and assured that everything has been done to reduce that increase. Some of the things I heard here is a revenue issue, and some are your expenses that are out of your control. However, my feeling is there's more that can be done to reduce that millage increase. Lastly, I speak not only for myself at these meetings, but many other people throughout the community. I've talked with neighbors, people I run into at different events and things of that nature, and many of them say here, and they agree, but they can't get out here to speak. So I just want you to know, it's not only coming from Bruce Charles, it's coming from other people in the community. And again, I urge you to vote against that, get back to work. There's still time to get this thing revised, and let's lower that increase. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Roman?
Good afternoon, Mr. Steckel and board members. My name is Andy Roman. I am a Whitehall Township Commissioner, newly elected. I sat in your seat about 20 years ago as a school board member. I've been a Lehigh County Commissioner as well. So I come to you not only as someone with some experience with what you're doing here today, but as a Whitehall Township Commissioner, hearing that you may contemplate taking the tax collection services and moving it over to Berkheimer. I fully understand your frustration. Our previous tax collector created a mess that we're trying to clean up. Tina's doing a fantastic job. But when I looked at the numbers and looked at some of the discussion items that we had at our township meeting last week, and we found out that if you were to go to Berkheimer, you're not going to be saving money, you're actually going to be paying double. And you're not only going to be paying double, you're not going to be paying double for the same service, you're going to be paying double for half the service. Because if you look in the fine print, when it comes to Berkheimer, their responsibility ends when it comes to keeping your database up to date. So if you have people moving into the township, moving out of the township, going from one apartment to the other, like Tina was explaining, she tracks all that. Berkheimer is not going to do that. You're going to have to do that. And it's a lot of time-consuming effort. So I don't blame you for being ticked off at what happened to the Whitehall Township Treasurer's Office. I got elected as a result of that situation, because I'm still working on getting to the bottom of it. Our taxpayers are out $79,000, and the township was out money. The school district was out, I think, $44,000. So there's a reason to be upset about it, but I'm just saying I don't believe the remedy is to send it to Berkheimer. I believe that it would be, in all fairness, to give Tina at least another year or two to prove herself before making that decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your participation. Mr. Williams, please present our financial.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today, we are looking to adopt the attached resolution for the 2022-2023 General Fund Whitehall-Coplay School District budget, as shown. And we're also looking to approve the 2022-2023 Homestead and Farmstead resolution, as shown, and I so move for both.
Do I have a second?
Second.
What was that? Mrs. Cromer. Mr. Malay?
Mrs. Gogler?
Yes.
Dr. Hartman?
Yes.
Mrs. Cromer?
Yes.
Mr. McCool?
Yes.
Mr. Saloom?
Yes.
Mrs. Schultz?
Yes.
Mr. Shields?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Fonzone?
Yes.
9 yes, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Malay. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Welcome.
Mrs. Gogler, can you please present the education and student activities, please?
I'm asking the board to approve the special education plan as attached. And that's all I have, and I so move.
We have a second?
Second.
Mr. Williams? Mr. Malay?
Dr. Hartman?
Yes.
Mrs. Cromer?
Yes.
Mr. McCool?
Yes.
Mr. Saloom?
Yes.
Mrs. Schultz?
Yes.
Mr. Shields?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. McGogler?
Yes?
Mr. Fonzone?
Yes.
9 yes, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Malay. Moving on, Dr. Steckel, please present the administrative matters.
Thank you, Mr. Fonzone. The administration is requesting the approval of the personnel agenda items that are attached to the agenda. The administration is also requesting the approval of additional summer staffing personnel as attached to the agenda.
Thank you, Dr. Steckel. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Mrs. Gogler, a second.
Second.
Mr. Salome. Mr. Malay?
Mrs. Cromer?
Yes.
Mr. McCool?
Yes.
Mr. Saloom?
Yes.
Mrs. Schultz?
Yes.
Mr. Shields?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Gogler?
Yes?
Dr. Hartman?
Yes.
Mr. Fonzone?
Yes.
9 yes, motion carries.
Thank you, Dr. Steckel and Mr. Malay. Moving on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Steckel, do you have any comments?
The only comment I have is I'd like to welcome Ms. Taylor Deutsch here this evening, or this afternoon. She was just approved as a first grade teacher at Gockley Elementary School. She's been working in the Gockley Elementary School for about half the school year this year and doing a fantastic job. We're very happy to have her permanently here in the Whitehall-Coplay School District. Congratulations, Taylor.
And if you would stay around after the meeting so we all can meet you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Steckel. Upcoming meeting dates are as follows: Monday, June 27th at 7 o'clock for a regular board meeting. Monday, July 25th at 7 p.m. for a regular board meeting. This takes us to other matters, and is there any other comments the board has to offer?
Just, we will roll right into our committee meetings
Yes.
after the adjournment of this board
Okay.
meeting.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Mr. Salome, second.
Second.
Mrs. Allison, Mrs. Schultz, thank you. Meeting is adjourned.